Hello, my friend. I'm really happy you're here with me today because we're going to practice English in a way that's simple, easy, powerful, slow, and clear. Are you ready to speak English more clearly, more confidently? Then let's begin with a story. But first, let me show you a beautiful method. It's called the shadowing technique. Have you heard of it before? Here's how it works. First, you listen to me speak one sentence at a time, then you repeat it after me. Try to match my tone, my speed, and my voice like a shadow follows the sun. This method is simple, but it works. It helps your brain and mouth connect, so you sound more natural, more fluent, faster. If the story feels too fast or difficult to follow, don't worry. That's completely normal. You can always go back, watch it again, and repeat it as many times as you need. The more you listen, the more you repeat, the more natural it will feel. Don't rush. Take your time. You are improving every single step of the way. Trust the process and trust yourself. Now let's enjoy a story together. It's called My First Time Flying Alone, I Was So Nervous. It's about a young traveler, her first solo flight, and the unexpected courage she found along the way, a story of fear and growth, and something she would never forget. As we read, don't just listen, speak with me. Let the words come alive, feel the story, practice every sentence, and by the end, you'll feel a little more fluent, a little more confident. Now let's start today with Jessica and her first time flying experience.
Let us begin the story. Hi, my name is Jessica. I am 27 years old, and this is the story of my first time flying alone. The night before my flight, I couldn't sleep. It was going to be my first time flying alone. No family, no friends, just me and a plane ticket. I kept thinking, what if I get lost at the airport? What if I miss my flight? What if I forget something important? Staring at the ceiling, my heart beating fast. I felt nervous, really nervous, but deep down I knew this was something I had to do. It was just one flight, just a few hours in the air, but for me it felt like a big step, a challenge, and maybe the beginning of something new. The next morning, I arrived at the airport early. Everything felt big, loud, and unfamiliar. People were walking in every direction. Announcements echoed through the air, and I held my ticket tightly in my hand, as if it was the only thing keeping me calm. I followed the signs carefully. Departures, security check, gate B12. My hands were slightly shaking, but I kept moving. When I reached the security line, I took a deep breath and told myself, "You can do this." The officer asked for my passport. I smiled nervously and handed it over. He looked at me, then at the photo, then stamped it. "You're good to go," he said. Those words felt like magic. I smiled for real this time. I was one step closer. I was really doing it, flying alone for the first time. I found gate B12 and sat down near the window. Outside, I could see the plane I would soon board. It looked huge, and honestly, a little scary. I checked the time. There was still 1 hour until takeoff. My heart was still beating fast, but now it wasn't just fear, it was something else too, excitement. I looked around. Some people were reading, others were on their phones, and a few looked just as nervous as I felt. I reached into my backpack, took out my headphones, and played my favorite playlist. Slowly, my breathing became calmer. I whispered to myself, "You're almost there." Then I heard the announcement. Flight 472 to London, now boarding at gate B12. My heart jumped. It was time. I stood up slowly and joined the boarding line, holding my passport and ticket tightly. My legs felt heavy, but I kept moving forward. When I reached the front, the flight attendant smiled and said, "Welcome aboard." I gave a nervous smile back and stepped into the plane. It was cool and quiet inside. People were putting their bags in the overhead bins, finding their seats, settling in. I walked down the aisle until I found mine 18A by the window. I sat down, fastened my seatbelt, and looked outside. The runway stretched far ahead, and the sky was a soft, pale blue. My palms were sweaty, and my heart was racing again. I whispered to myself, "This is it. It's really happening." I wasn't sure if I was ready, but I was here. I was in my seat. I was doing it. The plane doors closed, and the engine began to hum softly. A voice came over the speaker. "Ladies and gentlemen, please fasten your seatbelts. We'll be taking off shortly." I took a deep breath and looked out the window one more time. The plane started to move slow at first, then faster and faster. My heart pounded. I held onto the armrest as the plane lifted off the ground. My stomach flipped, and the city below grew smaller and smaller. I was in the air. I looked out at the clouds, floating beside us like soft mountains. For a moment, I forgot about my fear. Something inside me shifted. I felt a mix of fear, wonder, and pride. I whispered to myself, "I did it." After a while, the captain's voice came on again. "We'll be landing soon. Please make sure your seatbelt is fastened." I looked out the window and saw the clouds begin to break. The ground below was getting closer, clearer. The buildings looked bigger, the roads more detailed. The plane tilted slightly, and I felt my ears pop. Then softly we touched the ground. A small bump, then the wheels rolled along the runway, slowing down. We had landed. People around me started clapping quietly. I smiled. I had been so nervous, but now I felt proud. As I stepped off the plane and into the airport, something inside me felt different. I had done something big, something brave. I had flown alone for the first time, and now I knew I could handle more than I thought.
In the next video, we'll explore even more powerful shadowing techniques to help you speak English with confidence. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share it with a friend who's also learning English. Comments, just write, "I practiced." I'd love to see who's learning with me. Thank you for watching all the way to the end. I believe in you. Keep going, you're doing great.